Welcome back to WJZ at 9. We're about 4 miles from Cecil County. We're in northern Harford County on over 300 acres of beautiful Maryland farmland with the Dean of Maryland Racing. Again, Bill Boniface. Let me just put it in perspective. Over your career, if you were a baseball player, once out of every 4 times you walked up to the plate, you hit a home run.
Yes.
That was okay. Just go, well, yes. Bill, what a record. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So why 40 years ago did you and Jim McKay start the Maryland Million? What was the genesis moment?
Well, Jim had been out to the Breeders' Cup. It was just starting, the Breeders' Cup. And he came back, and I had a horse in training for him, and he came up to the farm, and he said, why couldn't we do this in Maryland? And it evolved from that conversation. And, of course, his notoriety got us sponsors. My job was first to get the stallions to commit to put up one stud fee. Every stallion that's offspring can run has to put up one stud fee. And that was the seed money to start to pay the purses. In addition to that, we had to have sponsors because we were starting with nothing. Jim was the key to getting the sponsors.
Okay, and for those who don't know, the rules of the Maryland Million are?
For progeny of stallions that stood in Maryland. Now, if there isn't 8 of them, it can open to horses that were foaled in Maryland. A horse is bred wherever he's foaled. Wherever the mare drops the foal, that's the state where the horse was bred.
So that's why this is all about Maryland.
Exactly, and it's Maryland Pride Day. It's the Preakness will always be the Preakness, Marty. But the Maryland Million is a day when, if you go to any horse breeder's house or farm, they're going to have you for dinner. You will see the Maryland Million bowls. Everybody sets them out. All the wives do. It's a unique Waterford Crystal trophy that Margaret, Jim's wife, wanted it to be presented. We were the first one to start using Waterford.
And we've got 30 seconds. If you're just new to the area, you have to understand, Maryland Racing, I think when I last heard, is responsible for over 6,000 jobs in this state. It is one of the biggest industries in the history of this state.
A very big labor-producing industry because it takes a lot of labor to take care of a horse, much less than a cow.
Got it.
And much more than a cow, I should say. So it's labor-intense, and it has all walks of lives. You've got professional people, the veterinarians, and what have you.
We've got to run. Coming up next half hour, we're going to go into your office because I want to pick your brain about what's going on at Pimlico, which is so important to Baltimore City and the surrounding area. And you think what's going on there is itself a home run.
A renaissance.
A renaissance. We'll explain more about that coming up shortly. Welcome back to WJZ at 9. Bill Boniface, the Dean of Maryland Racing, in your office at Bonita Farm. How many millions of dollars worth of deals have come across his desk?
Oh, quite a few. He syndicated one horse for $120. $120 million.
I know. I just had that just took my breath away. Hey, listen, we're here because we were talking about because of the Maryland Million. We were talking about it last half hour, but I want to take advantage of being with you to talk about Pimlico. And you said it's the renaissance of Maryland racing.
Well, there's a lot of history at Pimlico. It was one of the very first racetracks, and it's going to do a lot to bring us back on the map. We've sort of lost ground, but we have the history there, and the demolition is going well, and the new training center is going well, and I think the recognition of Governor Moore for the necessity of the horse racing industry is what we really needed. We provide 20,000 jobs here in Maryland, 10,000 of which are just directly from the racing, and 10% of the total acreage of Maryland is devoted to domicile equine, not all thoroughbreds, but all different kinds of horses, including state parks. So it's a big, big part of Maryland, particularly Maryland Million Day, because that's a day where the Maryland pride can really shine.
Well, Maryland Million has always been at Laurel.
No, it's been at Pimlico and Laurel. It used to flip back and forth.
Yeah. But the Preakness will be at Laurel the next couple years, and then everything shifts back to Pimlico?
Everything will run at Pimlico. Laurel will be sold for development. Everything that races in Maryland, yes. We do have 8 days of racing up at Fair Hill, which just raced for the first time couple weekends
Cecil
ago.
County.
Yes.
So that's big news for Howard County. They're going to develop the Laurel property.
Yes.
So that's why Pimlico is now such a big deal. It will be the exact capstone of Maryland racing.
Yes, it will. And it needed modernizing. You know, the noise was terrible in the paddock. There were a lot of things that needed redone, the barns. And they're working on the area. This is a joint effort with the Park Heights community. And that was part of the plan to get people involved. There'll be housing for the people that are working with the horses there. And the neighborhood was getting bad and needed cleaning up. It's all part of this project.
And you're behind it 1,000%.
Yes, I'm behind it 1,000%. I'm one of the consultants on the construction, and it's going to be great. The circumference of the racetrack will not change. That's been a recent change, and there'll be other changes.
And the circumference is a big deal as we throw it back to the station, because that means all the records will stand, because it's basically going to be the same track but a new dress. Bill, thanks for being with us. Thanks for everything you do for everybody watching here in the state of Maryland.
Thank you, Marty.
Pleasure is ours. Back to TV Hill.
All right, Marty, thank you.